Okay, so where I wanted to start, let me see. On page Tuf Resh Nun Aleph, is that right? Tuf Resh Nun Aleph. We're going to look over here at, start with number Kuf Nun Bet. That's what we saw this a little bit yesterday. It's an interesting idea that he said, but I'm not sure how I understand it. Let's see what he says. He says, remember that idea? What was I trying to say? Previously, on the previous page, on page Kuflaf, on Kuflamed Tes, he said that this world is like an Elaine. And the idea is to take the Elaine and connect it to the Yud K, which is not in this world, and make it one. That's another way. It's a very high level thought. So anyway, that's where it is. And so we're now over here with this Yud K, so to speak. So the question is, the Yud K also appears. I'm not sure if this is what he means. It's all a little bit vague to me. It also appears in the letter Hey, in the name Elokim. And what we're trying to do here is talk about sweetening the dinim, which the dinim are the mohin, the KADDISH, which is what he's going to say. So there are three different ways that you could spell, if you in a milui, the letter Hey. Hey Yud, Hey, and Hey Aleph. So that's like, to me, it would be like right, left, center. That's the way I would see that, which is the way that we usually go. Which are Hey Yud, Demur Chachma, Hey Demur Bina, and Hey Aleph Demur Das, so that's your right, left, center. Yehu bechem shisha osius, they're going to be, count them up, there's going to be 6 letters over there. Azekha b'shlosha chaviluyim yachtav, you have 6 letters. Now, that's a little fancy footwork he has to do here. Being tachsa lamalam, and then you want to go back and we'll take them and milui them again. Being tasha v'timalach as a milui, so you take the milui, you make a milui nosef on it. B'milui the milui, he said, azai heim yihyu ba'ofen the laholon, then they're going to be like we said previously, which is what? So that we're going to say, because that was great. So Hey Yud would then be spelled Hey Yud, that would be the Hey, and the Hey itself, and then Yud Vav Daled for the Yud. Ki Me'il be the Yudin, which is Hey Yud, Naasa Hey Yud, Yud Vav Daled, and he goes back through it again, and it says Hey Aleph. If you do it Hey Aleph, then it's going to be Hey Aleph, Aleph Lamed Fei. Moving along, Hey Aleph, let's see, where else? Aleph Naasa, Hey Aleph, Aleph Lamed Fei. Hey is going to become Hey, and Hey. One Hey for the first Hey, and then the Milui is going to be, of that Milui is going to be Hey. There's 2 of them. So it's Hey the Milui Heyin, Hey Naasa, Hey. So so if you count all that up, there are going to be 14 letters here. Boven should be called a shloshas hamiluyim yachtav. You put them together, you have Hey Yud, Yud Vav Daled, count them up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I can only count 13. 1, 2, that's good for me. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then there's 4 more, that's 14. Yesh Yud Daled Osius. Now we're back to this number, Yud Daled again. Now, while he's doing this, okay, so he's going to, what he wants to do here is he wants to pair this with the idea of what we get out of 42, which is elevation, or bringing the mochim, which are trapped, out of the kali. Ve'elecha Yud Daled Osius Yotzes b'shem Yud K d'shem Elokim b'miluyev. So he says that all of this comes, he says, from these 2 letters, Yud and K. Now, the Yud and K, which are part, that's where I'm understanding it, part of the name Elokim. So he's going to take them, and he's going to work with them, and you look at it in terms of a milui and a milui, so I think that's what it means, what it means. But I'm not sure about what that means, but I'm thinking that. So now we have 14 letters. If we do the milui of the letter Hey shall Elokim, which is that Hey that appears inside of the Elokim. The Kavin, so you take that, now you have these 14, and you're going to take that, you're going to matik as Elu Arba Esre of the 14 shall Yud K the Katnas. So the Yud K the Katnas, which is inside the name Elokim, as we're saying, Ayudecha Arba Esre Os is the Pashu, the Male, Havaya the Av. And how are you going to sweep those 14 that we're talking about, which are, I mean, what he's done is he's dissected the name Elokim and he focused on the letter Hey. And then he built out of the letter Hey in number 14. So out of that, you take that 14, and you're going to be able to Osi, the Pasha, the Mali, you're going to correspond them to the 14 that comes out of the well, we're going to see, L'chein, Tekave Lahamtek as a Yud Dalet Osi Shal Emilu and Emilu Shal Yak, these two letters, Yud and K, the Shem Elokim that are in the name Elokim, Shehem min HaMochin the Kadnas, which come from the Mochin the Kadnas. So how do we do this? We do this with the 14 letters. This, I guess, is the Kavanah that you want to say here. The 14 letters, B'Pasha, the Mali, the Chavavai, the Milui, Av, Shuhu, B'Mochin the Godless, which we find they are Mochin the Godless. So let me do something here. 1 second, a little adjustment. Okay. Okay, wait. Okay, there we go. Okay. Because they're open the Lochalon, and it's like something we're going to explain more later on. Then you have the Havaya, and he spells it. This is going to show you the 14. So there's Havaya, which is the Pasha, and then you have the Milui of Havaya, which this is the Milui of Yudin. So Havaya Shehem Arba Osis Havaya Pashuta Ve'eser Osis Havaya the Milui Yudin, like this, which he's showing us here. He says Arba the Pasha Ve'eser the Hamale Hey Yud Dalet Osius, they come out to be 14 letters. So you're going to match that 14, which is a section or a part of the 40 of the concept of 42. But here you're using it. It doesn't sound like you're using it to elevate it, but maybe you are, because you're actually sweetening the Elokim that's there in the dinim that come with kindness. So this is why we have Yudal twice. We have one time we have it in Osius, which we talked about, and another time we have it Teves, Sheesh b'Nusach HaKaddish, which is part of the Nusach HaKaddish. Sheesh b'Kaddish Shtei Pamim Yudalit, Pam Acha b'Teva v'Pam Acha the Osius. So what's the purpose of it here? He says in this section, the one that we're talking about now, is Kedei Lahamtek Bechem as Yudalit Osius Sheep and Midli the Os Hey Melokim. So he's going and doing surgery into the name Elokim, at particularly the point of the Hey, and he's showing you how it is reading back again, Bechem as Yudalit Osius Sheyesh Midli the Os Hey Melokim. Them talking Shtei Pamim, and so now we're seeing that they're getting sweetened 2 different times. Pam achas ayedera b'Yud Osius. One is through the Yud Osius. V'pam achas al Yud Teves. So what he did was he zeroed in, and when you want to sweeten that up, so you throw him a 14. But the 14 is really built around with this letter Hey in a Milui and a Milui to Milui. And then you see that you have a 14, and you take that 14, which is, again, this is maybe a little bit of a concept I don't understand. It is how he's stretching it out here. In other words, you had just a Hey to start with, and then he made a Milui, then a Milui, the Milui. He said it's operating in the deepest space inside of this letter Hey. So he said, "Oh, Yeshnei Pramem Koach B'Kaddish K'Nizkar." We talked about this already. So there's 20 of the concept of Koniflet. Oh, Shei B'Kaddish Shtei Pamim Kochas. Shehem Pam Achas the Kochas the Teves, and 1 time of letters. Vehem Koch Osius Milui, and then they correspond to another set. So again, what exactly is my question, I guess, would be, what exactly is the operation that is accomplished by making a Milui of a Milui? In other words, it's just making a pasha to milui and a milui. What are you doing there? You're spreading the light out, or you're making it more physical? What are we doing here so that it can have an effect? So which is what? To sweeten that hay which is inside which is inside of the Elokim. V'hem kavches osius milui the Ravai the milui the Av. So here we have another case of the 28. V'koach shechal KADDISH hem osios v'hem the Teves. We had two of them. Hem romazim al koach osios sheyesh b'milui shel Havaya the Av kazeh, and he shows us the Havaya the Av in milui of a milui. And you can count them up, and you'll find there's 28 letters there. Now he says, let's do this. Let's take away the Eser Osius Shehi B'Bechidas Amilu. Let's take that away. So what do you have now? Umin HaKoach Osius Shel Amilui Amili Taser B'Behem as Eser Osius Amili. Take that away. Asher K'Var B'Nir B'Zer B'Bechidas Yud Dal Hanizka, which also we talked about, that was a part of the building of the concept of Yud Dalet. So what are you left with? You're left with the Pasha. Or I think, I'm not sure. No, you're going to left with, you had 28 to start with, so my mistake. And you're going to wind up with 18. Shehem arba osius the Pasha, v'eser osius the Male, shehem mitku as a yud daled osius that you could make out of the different possible miluyim. Shall milui shall yud the Elokim. So that's where the letter you. That's what you're doing. 1 second, I will drink here. So where did that go? Where I get a drink, I get lost. V'yishara bebechinas yud k and remain yud ches. Excuse me. If you take those 10 away, which is the milui, you wind up with the number 18. The La'ach Shetasa Rabbi Eser Osius Amilui explains it out. Midakoach Osius shall milui the milui. Yishar Rabbarak Yud Ches Osius, and all you have now is 18 letters. The Tamtik Bahem, and you're going to take them. Havayus Yud Ches Osius the Havayus Tamtik. You're going to sweeten those 18 now. Yud Ches Osius Sheyesh B'Elokim Pashu the Mali, because what comes out is that the name Elokim in the Pashu and the Mali has 18 letters. As Hayud Ches Osius Sheyesh B'Elokim Pashu Mali Shabo Kazam. So here's the name Elokim, and he shows you how it looks. That's Elokim by itself. It has 5 letters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you have the Aleph Lamed Daled. So like that, count them up. It's going to make 18 in total. So you have the Elohim, he just spells it out for us. So he says the Elohim b'pashut yesh b'chamesh osius, it has 5 letters within it. Elohim b'male shuhu aleph lamed fe lamed bedal yud, etc., etc. Yesh yud gimel osius, there's 13 there. B'yachtav hev yud ches osius. V'hem nimtakim al yedech b'yud ches osius on the sharim min the milui the chavai the yudit. Okay, he says that what he is saying here is a kavanah. So it's a kavanah. So basically, you should have in mind that when you're coming to, when you're thinking about the 14, where the 14 comes from, another place where the 14 comes from, and it does a sweetening process in the name Elokim if you do follow the formula that he says. Then you come to the concept of 28. You have 28 in letters and 28 in words, and you take from them the 10 that are generated. And here you have to see this. First, you start out. This is what's confusing to me. Starts out with letters and words, and then he switches it over to the concept of a male or a pashut, a male and a male. Let's just say a pashut and a male and a male to male. And here in this particular case, he wanted to look at the 28, which is the male and the male. So over there, he wanted to look at that. He says, take away 10. That's the kavanah. You say, take away 10, and what you have 18. 18 is actually another match to the name Elokim, because it's the Elokim in the Pashut and the Mali. So now you took away the Milui of the first one, the Milui of the 28, and you just had 18, and those 18 will match. So this is doesn't necessarily know where he got this idea. You have this question, but that's not the question. The question is, this is what he says is. So this is what to do. So what to do is have this in mind. Od yesh shtei pamim mab b'kaddish. So let's talk about that. The b'kaddish yesh od shtei pamim mab. Shem pam achas the osios, the pam achas the Teves. So we went through that idea a bit. So mab b'kaddish romez al pashut umali the rabbi the av. So it also, what's his word? He says romez. It's a hint to this. So once again, my question here is what is the power of this Pashut Mali and Mali the Mali? Since it says so much ability, so we keep referring back to it, even though that this idea is referenced by the concept of 4, 10, and 28 into 42. So, but he references it. He says that they're working together, or they represent each other, something like that. Umilui the Milui the Ravai the Ab Shepechem Mab Osios. There are 42 letters over there. But the Kavin Lahamtik al Lahamtik Agidech Bepashu Umali the Mali the Ravai the Ab Shepechem 42 letters. So here he says this is the Kavana. So it doesn't necessarily make sense, but it seems arbitrary to me. But he says, in fact, that's the Kavana. So Elokim Hanizkar, so he says that the two Elokim that we mentioned, the Hamtek Ayidei Elu Hamab as Moach Elokim. So the Moach of the continence, which is called Elokim, and we're going to sweeten it. So why do we want to sweeten it? Lahamtiko, he said, Lahamtik Echad Moach Elokim Minadinim Shabo, Volahagdilo, cause it to grow. So this is a continuation of the explanation of the accomplishments that you're doing when you're doing this kavana. And the hagdil as samochin the kaddis, and also to grow the mochin which are called elokim. V'lahamshich mochin the godless, and to bring them mochin the godless. The kaddis, because the muach of kaddis is cotton. Is that what he says? Shaharich mochin the elohim hey muach cotton. They're little. The Haina Shehem Bechinas Akatnas, there's the concept of just small-mindedness or something like that. The Fichav Sark Laham Shekalechem Godless. So therefore you have to bring godless into them if you're going to do anything for them. So he said Lahar Chiva Lahagdila, so you have to what? Broaden it out. Of Lahag, grow it up. Of Lachain Srichen Lahar Chiva Lahagdila Bechasimochem the Katash Shehem Mochim Shal Alokem, and this is a Kabbalah that does that. The godless, so that it should be able to handle within itself the Havai the godless. And the reason, the whole idea that we're doing all of this, or maybe the whole idea is so that the mochi, which are elokims, should be able to make the name Havaya. Bear the name Havaya. Absorb that within themselves. And now he says something that could be important for looking in the Rishash in a different place. V'yihu yabuk. When you do that, and you take Havaya and you sweeten the Elokim, so now you understand when you look at Yabuk if you have a chance to look at the Yabuk in the Rishash Seder, he's like a Neidachetzleina. So that combination of bringing the Havaya into the Elokim, this has a tremendous effect on it, but it has a name, which is the river Yabuk. So I'm thinking, what does it mean? Does it mean something that, I don't know. So he says that's what it's all about. So he says because they come to that Kamai 112. That are in the process of being sweetened by the Mocha the godless. So perhaps the place where we see this, I think, is at Atah Kadosh, in the Rishash, he's really talking in that place right before that you had a transition into Mochin de Gadlus starting to come in. And maybe how that all fits together. Okay, that's that shear. Let's see if we